back, everyone. This is Julie, and this is Two Non-Critics and a Cat. I'm here with Martina and with Federica. How are you guys? Take 27. No, I'm joking. We have some difficulties, but now we're all back. And
We didn't have some difficulties. Federica's brain
I was done.
had some difficulties.
I was censoring myself.
You know,
my first take of the episode was that my energy is completely below the desk today. And Martina is sick and Federica was sick.
Yes.
So it's incredible. Today,
it's the sick club.
Is,
it's like a wedding, for better or for worse, we're here.
Yes, but exactly. But you know when you do your WebEx meetings and Zoom meetings and people start talking and they are on mute. Feds basically did the first 5 minutes of the podcast, take one like that, and we had to redo that
and I was
again.
like, guys, I don't think he's recording anything, and then
it's not picking up anything.
Profanity ensued.
Yeah.
And then Julia realized that my microphone was red.
Anyway, today we are here this week to talk about the post-apocalyptic obsession that we've had in the past month, week, or years, which I've had for probably years. But first of all, what have we done this week? What have we watched?
I watched only one thing, which is the new show on Apple TV Plus, Long Way Home. With Ewan McGregor and his friend Charlie. I've seen all of the iterations of this show because they've done Long Way Down, Long Way Up, which is basically they go on a motorbike on a road trip.
I was gonna say, isn't that the motorbike trip one?
Yes. They go on a motorbike and they do road trips around the world. The last one they did was electric, and it was like in 2019.
I was going to say it was before COVID.
Yes, it was 2019, and the first one that they did, it was 20 years ago. So it wasn't obviously for Apple. But then they sold them all to Apple, which released them. And I've seen all of them, and they did Long Way Home, which is the new one. So basically they're doing from Scotland to England, but going through 13 countries in Europe, including
it's a very long way home, yes. It's
Antarctica.
A Spider-Man long way home.
So it'd be very nice. And I watched the first 2 episodes, which they are the only ones that have been released so far, which is quite nice, I have to say.
I actually got into the bit of The Last of Us. I think I watched the first 3 episodes. So I'm very upset at the same time, and I will have my little discussions in a little bit. And then I've watched Havoc, which is a very unnerving movie, like classic mafia shooting movie with Tom Hardy on Netflix. It just came out, which was really, really good, and I'm very excited I watched it. Tom Hardy is a good shooting guy, but at the same time, I honestly don't know how that man ever did any other type of characters, because he's always playing he was playing Eddie from Venom basically, but he was just the funniest thing I've seen in a while, so I'm not complaining. But we know he's really good. Even in Inception he was really good, so I don't know, but I have my mixed reviews about his character. But the movie was great. It actually gave me a lot of anxiety for some reason.
And why do we always watch stuff that gives us anxiety, as if we don't have enough?
I don't know. But to be fair, I watched Tick, Tick, Boom as well. He's like this guy on his 30s, and he's about to lose his mind because he's like he's like 13 like a few days. And I was just like, why did I have to watch this on the year of my 30s? It's crazy.
I've been butterflying between Disney Plus and Netflix, I think. Because I was watching on Prime as well, but I'm not liking it as much. It's from the creator of Gilmore Girls, so Amy Sherman-Palladino. She did another TV show on ballet. So there's basically the Metropolitan Ballet in New York and the Paris Ballet, National Ballet. They're going through like kind of sort of a recession, and they try to mix things up by exchanging choreographers, composers, dancers between one another to freshen up the lineup. But I don't know, not liking it as much. I'm not particularly enjoying any of the main characters. I don't find them relatable at all. Maybe because I'm not a ballerina, who knows? But yeah, because of that, I've been half watching a lot of things, but the one that I'm sticking to now, I finished completely on Disney Plus. Dying for Sex is the new TV show with Michelle Williams. She basically get diagnosed with cancer for the second time, but this time it's stage 4, and she just realized that she's done nothing with her life, especially because of some kind of meds that she was into. Her libido just goes up, but
so
her husband doesn't want
to fuck half of the universe.
Yeah, but no, actually no. It's like more exploring what you like, because up until that point, because of the other cancer diagnosis and the fact that the husband was like completely focused on helping her getting better, she felt like I didn't have the chance to explore or do anything in terms of my sexual life. So she leaves her husband and just starts exploring. It's really interesting. Okay. It was a good TV show. And then today I started In Vogue the 90s, just because I wanted to see how Vogue became what it is today.
Great.
Do we want to start on the post-apocalyptic obsession?
Yes, so we're talking about The Last of Us Season 2 today, Feds and Julie mostly, because I haven't seen it. I'm talking about Andor. So I'm kind of introducing Season 2, but mostly I'm spoiling Season 1. So who hasn't seen Season 1, don't listen to me, because they will
listen to me.
I'm just going to get off of this call then.
Yeah, because it's been a while since Season 1. So
I accept it.
And but I cannot talk about Season 2 because it's not finished yet. It's episode 9 and they have to release I don't know if the first season had 12. I don't know if this one has 10 or 12. I think maybe 10. But anyway, I will introduce Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll talk about the second trailer that's been released quite like a couple of weeks ago, of 28 Years Later, which we are very hyped for.
I'm incredibly
sister
hyped.
And I, especially. And it's actually one of the, according to statistics and surveys and things, it's one of the most awaited films of this year. Danny Boyle's return with his classic 28 Days Later. Now it's 28 Years Later. So up to you with The Last of Us.
Today I watched the episode 4 that came out last week.
I'm just gonna say that
we have episode 5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I got up until episode 3.
Okay.
So it's a bit longer for me to get into because I didn't know what was gonna happen, and at the same time, I feel like I felt like that even with the game. I feel like they're absolutely destroying the story, and I'm really sad about it. I'm upset that they didn't avenge whatever happened. I'm upset that, for what I know, of course, because...
Give them time.
Yes, I get it, but, everyone took it on such a whims. No one was upset about it, and it's crazy because this poor man has been with them for, months and years, and... it's been 5-6 years this man has been with them, and they're like, oh yeah, they just smash his head and everyone is fine, so... But yeah, I did see that the episode number 2 was a little bit different on the game. And it was absolutely, I would say 60% less brutal. Because if you do want to know, I mean, at this point, episode 2 came out 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
So if you want to know, basically, the game one, they smash his head with a golf stick. But, they smash his head completely. They beat him repeatedly so much, and they do that the entire scene. So there's no shooting, there is no, she's not beating him. It's just, beating him up with this golf stick, and it's absolutely disgusting. So
it's good that I'm not watching this.
Well,
Thanks.
they haven't done it in the TV series, actually.
They show you just that it's completely reduced to a pulp, and then she gives the last blow.
Oh, it's so much worse in the game. He was still recognizable in the TV show. So it's something different. But yeah, I don't
I felt it was still traumatic as a non-gamer.
Yeah.
For me, it was a trauma. So there's a trend of messages on my phone where I'm texting Phil, who's a gamer. Phil is one of my colleagues, and he's a gamer. And we were watching it simultaneously. So I was sending him live reaction, and the live reaction were not pretty. And I don't know. I was shocked by the horde of unalive cordyceps filled up humans running. That everything was a blur. Like it's episode 2 was a jam-packed episode. Like I feel like you kind of don't understand until it does happen, and there's the moment of silence when you're like, holy F, it happened.
Yeah, but it's like they found a tube full of like stuff inside, and then they cut it and they saw the cordyceps underneath it, and I was just like, isn't that
then you're
obvious?
not gonna like episode 4.
No, but like, isn't that obvious? Like if I saw something like that inside a pipe, I would think that you're fucked, basically. That's what I would think. But yeah, the cordyceps itself, it's a whole a great, it's a great universe because it's an actual thing that exists. So
yeah,
and that's the beauty of The Last of Us. That is actually one of the post-apocalyptic scenarios that is the most common and most possible to happen. Because it is actually something that works. It's like a mushroom that exists.
Okay, I'll stop you right there. Can you two give me a crash course on The Last of Us?
So this is like some sort of like a distant future where humanity kind of got wiped out.
The Last of Us is 2020.
Yeah, it's like not so distant exactly. But then you in season 2, I think you are in
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically that humanity gets wiped out because there's this mushroom, like this fungi, cordyceps, that kind of infiltrates your mind and takes over your body, so you get infected, and there's no cure. So whoever gets infected through bites, because it basically makes you like a zombie-like kind of being.
On a short scientific point of view, cordyceps do exist. The only reason why they haven't taken over humans is because they can't. So they do take over ants, they do take over insects, and they do move them. Spiders.
They kill them from the inside, and then they take over their nervous system, and they make them move as if they're alive. So that way they can be directed inside their lair and infect others of the colony. So if they do it with ants, they will infect one ant, they will make the ant go back to the lair,
and then they will infect
and then it will
else.
Infect all the others. So it's like it is a fungi that exists. It's a parasite. And but in this reality, it infects humans. So
the only way that's the first or second episode that the scientist is actually looking up. She says it's not possible because technically the cordyceps cannot get used to humans, or I think it's like something to do with the warmth or like the acids of a human or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That they can't adapt to their body. So that's the only reason why she says it's impossible, and that's why there is no cure. Because once they do mutate and they do attach the human body, it's impossible to let them go. So it's a very, very possible scenario instead of having like a virus outbreak of like anything else. And that's why they become zombies, because the cordyceps takes over them.
So you are in this post-apocalyptic kind of reality where they're trying to fight for their life and unite together under like small colonies or small group to just fend off the infected. And in the meantime, there's like different groups that are trying to kind of like find a cure. So you have the group of the Fireflies that are trying to find a cure. And I can't remember what happened in season 1. Probably, Julia, you remember better. But basically, Ellie is the only person at the moment, or the only person that you know of, that is immune to this. She got bitten.
This is Bella Ramsey?
Yes, it's Bella Ramsey. Okay. She got bitten, but she never developed... She was never infected. So she has a massive scar on her arm. Yeah. Because she kind of like... I think she burns the mark, the bite.
It.
But she doesn't get infected, so she's immune.
She stabs it. She does it in the second season as well.
So
yeah, basically you have Pedro Pascal's character that lost his daughter in the first, like, literally first 20 minutes of the first episode. And you have his brother that then he gets lost and he's going to find himself at the end of season 1 and season 2. And then there is this little kid, which is Bella Ramsey's character, which she gets found basically by him. and another character, which I don't remember her name, but she was Olivia in Fringe. I don't remember the actress name.
Anna Torv.
Anna Torv, oh my God, I absolutely adore her. But yeah, they basically fend her off for a little bit, and then they start to trust her, and then they see that basically she's immune. So it starts all a thing of like, they will go and find the reason why she's immune, and then the Fireflies go catch them because she is immune, and they want to experiment on her, which is classic what they would do, because of course if somebody is immune, they will have to experiment on them.
And because they're not real scientists, they don't realize that you don't need to kill somebody to see why they're immune. You just need a blood culture. But no, let's not do that. So at the end of season 1, Joel basically kills the whole Firefly team.
Yeah, he goes on a killing spree for the Fireflies.
To save her, to save Ellie, and he takes her, and then they find his brother, which is in a colony far out.
They're in Wyoming.
Season 1 hands, and you follow them trying to basically stay alive, then getting captured by the Fireflies. Then he goes in a killing spree, and the premises for season 2 is basically the daughter of the doctor that was about to kill Ellie gets murdered by Joel to save Ellie. So the daughter, which her name is Abby, that's probably her and a couple of friends of hers are in the Firefly, and they're the sole survivors. She wants to avenge her father, so they joined a group which is called WLF, or Wolf, which is a group of militant people that live in Seattle.
Yeah.
So the season 2 basically premises is that Abby wants to find Joel
and wants to kill him.
And
she does find him.
It happens in episode 2 basically. So the rest of it is Ellie
avenging him,
wanting to avenge Joel.
While there's a literal god fight in between the fact that the cordyceps are expanding and the fact they are adapting to anything that gets thrown at them. Because there is still...
Is there a vibe shift?
There is still
like
no cure as well.
Mode,
no
tone, or no? It's the same.
Say it again, Marty.
I said, is there a change of mood or tone from season 1 or season 2? Or
it's always been kind of gloomy, to be fair. But I think that season 1, it's always been very gloomy because, as I said, it's very realistic. Apart from the 7'4" cordyceps that I just saw in episode 3, that was hilarious. The massive guy that starts running is like a bodybuilder cordyceps. I don't know what they were trying to do with that. But yeah, it was very gloomy all the time. But the first season was kind of them bonding. The second season we had nothing of them because there was literally no time. That's another thing. I think they could have like washed it, like diluted a little bit, and actually give him like a few episodes, because like doing that on the second episode is absolutely diabolical.
I think they're still gonna use like the same thing that they do in the game, where she's like every now and then she has glimpses of him or hallucinates him in a way or not.
Yeah, but that was diabolical to destroy a character like that in second episode 2.
I know, but I think that's what it needed, because otherwise, what are you gonna do? You cannot just have filler episodes of cordyceps infected zombies killing people. They just went immediately ballistic with the second episode.
No, but then there is a whole story, is the fact that like there's a Dina that's going to become Ellie's girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a lot of things coming.
They explore that kind of in season 4. One thing that, in episode 4. One thing that they could have done better and they could have explored is explaining the background a little bit
of them too.
You haven't seen episode 4, but in episode 4 you get introduced to in episode 3 you get introduced to the Scars.
Oh yeah.
But you don't understand who they are. They don't explain anything, and then this evolves in episode 4 as well. But it's like they could have explained that a little bit better, but they throw you in the middle of everything. But I think like it does match a little bit the game, because same as Ellie, when you're playing Ellie on Ellie's perspective, you gotta get thrown into it a bit, and you have the idea that the wolf guys are the bad guys, and then you get to Seattle, and Seattle is a whole kind of warm plus cordyceps.
Yeah, I think that like also at some point the POV will change, because in the game you're supposed to play both of the characters. So I think that at some point we'll also have the POV from Abby.
Yeah, potentially, which will be interesting, I think.
Yeah.
But to sum it up, The Last of Us just shows you humans are not good.
Yeah.
Everybody is some sort of like piece of shit in the end.
Yeah,
like
they're always
everybody,
talking to
there's
they're
no
always thinking about themselves.
there's no humanity left.
No.
Nobody's like looking after one another. It's more like you die and I live.
It's the only kind of like,
which is the opposite of the one.
Yeah, I mean the only community
today.
kind of thing that you get is from them in the Wyoming like center.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the fact because most of these people are actually like brothers and sisters or like husband and daughter, husband and wife, father and son. You know what I mean? So
I mean, like they've done the same in season 1 where you see that episode between the two male characters.
No, don't talk about that episode.
Yeah, that episode is the only thing that brings humanity back into a pretty glam season. And then you get that episode. That episode shattered my heart.
That episode was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the judgment? Promising?
From a non-gamer, I'm liking it and loving it so far. I would have added more details. Like, I think they could spend more time explaining a little bit more of the intricacy of the world. But from a non-gamer point of view, 10 out of 10. Recommend.
From a gamer point of view, it's exactly the same as the game.
Which is good or bad?
It's very good, apart from the fact that everyone got pissed about Bella Ramsey because she doesn't look like Ellie. It's not really like a major thing. Like I really don't care. She's a great actress, honestly. But it's a good thing that the first season was identical. The first season was identical. I don't know if they're going to be able to do the second season exactly identical, but hopefully they'll add something else. But yes, it's a good thing. My only concern is the fact that they completely annihilated Pedro Pascal's character, which Joel was a fantastic character.
Yeah.
Not only the fact that it was him, but it was a fantastic character. I'm really sad about that. But yeah, I'm also in love with Jesse, so just so you know. there is a guy that, like, honestly, he looks like a god, and it's so funny. Every time I look at an episode, I get confused. So yeah.
All right, now let's go to a fellow colleague in the Star Wars universe of Pedro Pascal, which is Diego Luna. So Andor is what I'm talking about today, which is one of the spin-off Star Wars spin-off that Disney Plus is bringing up, and it's its second season. But I've seen all of the first one and a bit of the second one because it's not finished yet. It's on episode 9. So Andor is a prequel to Rogue One, which is also another spin-off. Not many people actually have seen Rogue One. And our main guy is Cassian Andor, who's Diego Luna, who is basically the only survivor of a planet that has been obviously ravaged by the Empire, and basically the story kicks off on the planet Ferrix, where Cassian kills 2 corporate security officers while he's searching for his sister. And at that point, basically his life changes a bit, and he gets into like getting to know some strange people. One of them is Stellan Skarsgård Luthen. There's quite a cast in this show, I have to say.
Skarsgårds are everywhere.
There's Stellan Skarsgård, yes. So he's Luthen. He's kind of mysterious as a character, but from what I understood, he's a rebel operative, and he's trying to recruit in Cassian for a mission to steal an imperial payroll. And Cassian joins this mission, which is quite successful, and but then he gets him in trouble, and so there is also some politics in here, which is quite common for a Star Wars movie, which is Mon Mothma is a woman senator that is basically trying to help the rebellion, but she's also has a role in politics that she has to kind of double face. And then basically mid-season Cassian is trying to retreat to a beach planet after what happens with the mission that he was tasked for by Luthen, and but he gets arrested. And when he gets arrested by the Empire, there are these 3 episodes, I would say, where there is also Gollum.
Gollum, okay.
Andy Serkis. There is also Andy Serkis as Kinoloy, who is basically leading the people who have been arrested. He's like a shift manager, basically, but he's been arrested as well, so he's also working. They're like doing... it's like, when you get sent to work in a mine, that kind of stuff. They're not in a mine, but they're working for the Empire, building stuff.
Okay.
And there is this rebellion. So the rebellion, what is it, 2 episodes? I have to say, made me cry. Like, there's nothing like a good old-fashioned rebellion for freedom,
In
to
the
make you
Star Wars
emotional.
realm, where does this one take place?
This one is before Rogue One, which is basically the spark of the rebellion. So this is basically the genesis of the rebellion.
Perfect.
Yes.
So it's between episode 3 and episode 4.
I think it's before everything.
Okay.
It's really like the genesis of the rebellion, and then I mean, Rogue One is already the genesis of the rebellion. This is even before, it's like the first sparks of rebellion to the Empire.
Okay.
There is no Darth Vader, it's the Empire is, there is also a Senate still,
Because Darth Vader, it's basically the genesis of Darth Vader is episode 1, 2, and 3 when you had
yes,
Yeah.
which is later
yeah.
than this. So there is also Fiona Shaw in the movie. She's
nice.
Irish from County Cork. Of Cork.
Represent.
She's amazing. I love her, actually. She's Cassian's adoptive mother. Basically, she's the one that saves him from the planet that gets obliterated by the Empire when he's a child. And the season finishes with her dying, and she speaks at her funeral as an hologram, whatever. It's their tradition. And basically, she sparks a revolt.
Okay.
And the Empire is looking for Cassian in the meanwhile, who is there to save some friends, and is there for the funeral and so on. So there is this rebellion, and I have to say that's also quite emotional. It's really well made, this show.
Between The Mandalorian and this one, which one do you prefer?
This one, I have to say this one. So I have watched all of The Mandalorian, actually.
Traitor.
No, but it's true, because the thing is, after a certain point in The Mandalorian, there's not much happening.
Fair.
It's so boring, while this one is slow, because it is quite slow, because you have to understand the dynamics and the links as every Star Wars. But it is super well made. It's so well made. And the actors are, there's Stellan Skarsgård and Fiona Shaw. Diego Luna is really good, I have to say.
I love Diego Luna. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And do you know a fun fact?
Yes.
Do you know how they call R2-D2 in Mexican?
No.
Arturito.
You're actually joking.
No, I'm not, because if you think about it, Arturito, R2-D2, it's kind of like sounds the same. So they called it Arturito. So Diego Luna did this interview with, I can't remember if it was Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and he explained that I was Jimmy Kimmel. And it was like, in Mexican, we called R2-D2 Arturito. So he thought when he moved to America, that R2-D2 was called Little Arthur. And he was not. That's brilliant.
So cute.
Anyway, so the first season ends with Cassian that basically tells Luthen, kill me or I'll join you, because actually Luthen went there to kill him, because he didn't trust him, that he didn't trust his mouth shut after the mission that he successfully was tasked for, because in fairness, because actually Cassian Andor at the beginning is just a survivor from this planet. He's trying to make his money, you know what I mean? He's not a rebel. Like, he couldn't care less. So he transformed. He's like a self-serving scavenger at the beginning. He's a scavenger. While at the end, he's very committed to the cause. So the second season starts on these premises. The fact that he joins Luthen, who is this rebellion operative, quite high up. And he starts doing missions for Luthen to help the rebellion and so on. And there are new characters. Obviously, there is Mon Mothma, who is the senator. She basically has to give her daughter in marriage to someone to cover some stuff for the rebellion, which is quite something, because also she doesn't have a great relationship with her daughter, so this doesn't help really. And the second season is really promising, what I've watched so far, but most importantly, like, the cinematography of this season is incredible. It's really well made. Like, it's really well made, I have to say. And I like this one more than The Mandalorian. I thought about it today, actually. While I was watching it, I thought I'm actually liking this more than The Mandalorian.
I feel like same as with the Marvel Universe, they went into a spree of making too many things about Star Wars as well. So it got really diluted and it became a little bit too much. And then they stopped, and then they made something good, like for instance Thunderbolt for Marvel, but now this one for...
This is really good. Like, there are some episodes that are the last, I would say the last 4 episodes of the first season are really, really
nice,
good. Like, all the stuff in the prison where he's wrongfully imprisoned by the Empire for a fake charge, which they do to a lot of people to enslave them, and then they don't want to release them. They promise them that they will be released after some shifts, which is their sentence, but then they won't, which is why then it sparks a rebellion in the prison. And those episodes are really great, and also the funeral episode is great because Fiona Shaw is amazing. She does this speech at the funeral that I would follow her as well, you know. Let's do it! Like, honestly, she's great. She's in Bad Sisters season 2 as well.
Okay.
She doing a completely different character. She's incredible.
We love an eclectic.
Oh my god, like, you hate her in season 2 of Bad Sisters. Yes. Actually, you hate her at the beginning, and then actually...
Yeah, Bad Sisters is another one that I started watching, and then I paused. I'm gonna keep on watching.
I love Bad Sisters. I love Bad Sisters. It's one of the few all-female, that I really love.
So, all in all, Andor is a 10 out of 10. Recommend?
I wouldn't say 10 out of 10, but 8 out of 10, okay. Yes.
So let's not go through that much.
Me, Peaky Blinders is a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Stranger
your benchmark.
Things is a 9 out of 10 and 9.5. But, not, I would say, 7.8.
7, just to keep it humble.
Yes, to keep it humble.
7.8 is crazy. I would be upset.
Yeah, but it's really good. It's good. I cannot...
It's entertaining.
Really good. I cannot complain. It's also very emotional in some parts, It has the epic element of Star Wars, but it's a well done epic element. It's not like the epic element that they've tried to do in Mufasa, and I was laughing almost. I was like, really? You want me to fight now? No. Anyway, Julie, the second trailer of 28 Years Later came out. So, 28 Years Later is the sequel to Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later, which is a cult classic horror that basically it's the genesis of the zombie genre. Not the zombie in general, but the ones that run, which are basically all of them now. They all run.
There was a meme talking about the zombies that run. It's like if you hear zombies, normal zombie sounds, you do fight them, and then if you hear clickers, you just go the other way. The sound of clickers is.
So 28 Days Later actually was made 28 years ago.
All in circle. Number 28.
It's actually been 28 years. So it was Cillian Murphy's first big movie. It was almost his debut, because before then he just did very small things like Disco Pigs and a couple of things. But this was the debut. And so now this is the sequels that came almost 30 years later. We have Ralph Fiennes, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I've been reading.
Yes, and honestly, I can't wait. There's no Cillian Murphy in this first one. I think he will be in the end credits, I have to be honest.
It's going to be like a Marvel movie.
Because it is a trilogy. They already shot, I think it's called The Temple of Bones, the third one. They already shot it, and I think it's coming out next year, like very soon. And Cillian Murphy is in it, so I think he'll be in the end credits of the second one.
Do you think, as humanity, after the pandemic, we're getting kind of obsessed with?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think we've always been a bit obsessed
but I feel like
with this kind of stuff.
Touching it a tad more, because there's been a lot of movies about like apocalyptic things. Like before we had like in the 90s we had the obsession with space and meteors coming to Earth and destroying us, but now this time it's like more we are the problem, and if there's gonna be an apocalypse, it's because it's caused by humans, not for any external factor.
Yeah, but do you want to laugh? Actually, 28 Days Later, it's quite oh god, how do you say when it's predictive,
like
of
realistic?
the future?
It predicts the future.
It's not only realistic, it's that basically it's based, you haven't seen the first one, no?
Nope.
So basically it starts with, there are these monkeys, so animals, that are infected with they have this virus, and they bit a human being, and that's how it spread. So that's exactly like COVID.
Yeah.
From animals, so it's quite realistic, it's based on a premise that is not
I feel like
really
before
wrong.
in the 90s it was more about some external factors are gonna be destroying planet Earth or whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's more like we are the problem.
Yeah, but if you think that this was 30 years ago,
Yeah, that was a little bit.
it was quite advanced as
Yeah.
a plot, as a script. By the way, as a script, it was written by Alex Garland, the original one, and this one. The team is back together, so it was Alex Garland writing the original one, Danny Boyle directing, Cillian Murphy starring in it as their protagonist. And then now in this one, they have the team back together. Cillian Murphy will be starring in the next one, and he's producing, I think, both this and the next. But Julie, go into details on the trailer. Like, did you like the second trailer? The first one, that song just got into my brain, and they repeated it in the second one as well, which I loved, honestly.
So apparently that is it's an extract of like a poem, which I absolutely downloaded and found there because it was absolutely insane. But I think it's one of the best made trailer that I've ever seen in my life, surpassing way more Marvel trailers. because
it's really
it's,
good.
It's incredible the way it's just edited, and the song, and the anxiety that gives you, and the fact that you're looking at something that's been in the making for like 20 years.
Also, it's the most watched horror trailer in history.
I have no doubts about that, because it's an incredible, well done trailer. It's just so hyped, and you know it's going to be a good movie, so you're even more hyped about that. And then there's a bunch of great actors in it anyway, and everyone is bringing like the hard one and the scared one and like the one that is running. There's like all this cinematic in the middle, and I'm just like, even the posters with all of those skulls that got released, I was like, this is massive. I don't know, I'm just so obsessed with that.
Yeah, me too. June 20, I think it's coming out, no?
Yes.
And can we just say 1 second, Ralph Fiennes, the versatility of this actor,
Absolutely.
the talent, like he was playing a cardinal 3 days ago.
Absolutely.
And now he's playing a guy in a zombie universe, whatever, you know, and he's played Voldemort
The problem
before,
is that
and
he's
played
doing that
a Nazi general before, you know, he's just incredible. I cannot. He's just great.
He is very good, yes, I agree.
Yeah. I still have in my head the screenshot of his back completely filled up with that tattoo.
Oh yeah, oh my god,
Red Dragon.
that is
he's
beautiful.
He's something.
That is a beautiful
He's
movie.
something. He should win an Oscar.
He should have won an Oscar for Red Dragon. Honestly,
He should have won an Oscar for Schindler's List.
Red Dragon is
for the English Patient. He should have won an Oscar a few times.
Hey, maybe next year for the Oscars, finally something that we all thought was gonna will win, because now people need to watch movies when they're voting for
they
them.
actually need to watch them. Oh, so they can't escape it now.
Yeah, you know, it's funny when they actually watch movies, the best one wins, because Oppenheimer, who was one of the most watched movies of that year,
You don't
it did
say.
win.
It's beautiful.
It did win, you know, because they were watching. They were
proof
like,
is in
"Oh,
the
this is a
pudding."
pretty good one." Anyway, I think we're done for today.
Yes, absolutely. I will go back
didn't
and
cough.
finish The Last of Us last episode that is out.
I didn't
Enjoy.
cough.
What did you
Can
do?
you believe?
What did you do,
I
Martin?
just said enjoy, Julie.
I didn't cough. That's what I said.
Yes.
The feds said enjoy it.
I'm sure I will not enjoy it, but thank you very much for saying that.
Yeah, so we are done. Don't miss our content, weekly content on our Instagram and YouTube
channel.
Yes, and I don't know what we're talking about next week.
I think we're
because
pausing,
I
aren't we,
am
because
not
you're
here.
in Ireland.
Yes, I'm not here. I'm in Ireland. I'm in Cork.
Maybe I will come up with something, and I will just.
Yes, I was gonna say that
about something.
Maybe you should come up with something.
Me and Federica,
yes.
maybe if she's around, we can just yap about
Yes.
something.
I
She's
am around.
Good.
And you're boss. So you're boss. So do something while I am enjoying my very well-deserved holidays after 6 months of non-holidays.
Me and Federica, we can mourn the death of Pedro Pascal in any kind.
Yeah, in any
any universe.
Yeah, in any production that he did.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a little news bit to whatever is happening into the the world of cinema, which is very exciting lately because a lot of things are coming out. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, thank you. The episode that I wanted to do, you're doing it while I'm not here. Great.
Yes, exactly. Enjoy your holiday.
Anyway, today I've seen an advertisement for Definition Scheme. There's a lot of actors in there, by the way. There's Benedict Cumberbatch, there is Bryan Cranston, there is Scarlett Johansson, there is...
Love me some Wes Anderson.
Yeah, love me some. He's really good with casting people, honestly. Really
always
good.
high profile.
Not only with casting people, he's a great director, but like he always has great casts. And Benicio del Toro is leading this one.
This year is the perfect year because they are adding the new category in the Oscars about cast, directing cast directors. So
yeah,
There you go.
Great. Amazing. Well,
thank you very much,
Julie,
for being with us this week. We're all sick, but next week is going to be better. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.